If you're in the room, please do introduce yourself in the chat, and we can get started. Morning, Dinch, if I pronounced that right. Let me just actually come on. There we go. Hi, Patrick. Didn't have my webcam on. And can you also say where you're from? I'm doing the webinar today from the UK, from Manchester. Hi from Norway. Hi, Tyler. A few USA people. I've just flown actually from JFK. So I got back from America on Tuesday. So back in the good old Blighty. A little bit of jet lag. Not too bad. Hi, Roberto. So before we start, I'm going to get a quick feel of, do a quick poll. I sent a poll just to get an idea of who's using the core CRM and who is has the extensions or not. So I've asked that in the poll. So if you can answer that, that will help us with knowing which parts to cover in more detail or not in the webinar. Hi, Wavi. It's 1 p.m. where we're from, so both myself and Woody are in the same time zone for a change. It's quite early in America, so thanks for making it. I'll jump over to the demo. So I'll give a quick overview of what I'm actually going to cover on the demo first. So let me just find the list. Okay, so I'm going to go over creating a contact with ZeroBS CRM. So people who have been using it already should have an idea of how to do that. Custom fields, if you've not used custom fields, tags and filters, a bit about the CRM dashboard, some a look into quotes, proposals, and the client portal. And then I'll go through a couple of the extensions that are available in the bundle if you're using them already. So if there's any questions as I go through, just ask them on the questions tab, and Woody is here to help with any answers there while I'm doing the demo. And I'll pop back and forth between the demo page and this webinar as we go along. So starting with contacts, so I've got a CRM running with some demo data in there already. So we've got a whole load of people working for the fictional ZeroBS CRM company. So there's only myself and Woody, but we've got all these new people. So you can see different statuses in the list, and this is where you manage your contacts. So you've got the ability to add a new contact and tag your contacts. So say we go to tags and we want to tag a certain contact, then you can sort of name all sorts of different tags. You can add new tags, and that's added to the list. And when you go back to your contacts, you can manage them through the tags at the side. So there's all sorts of different ways. So we're running tags based on the products that we sell for the extension. So I've made up these tags, and I've tagged some of these fake people with the tags. But if you're adding a new contact, you just go to add new. Choose your status. So you can define your statuses in the settings. So I'll get to that after. So we've got a new lead. You can quickly fill them in. So do myself. A lot of fake emails going on. And I've got some custom fields at the bottom there. So I was looking at cars the other day. So I was thinking, well, what cars would I be interested in? So what would be the year, what would be the make, the model? So you can use custom fields for if you're wanting to store extra data. So in this condition, I was saying, well, there's these cars that this person's interested in, and then I will know in future, like there's some, what car was Mike interested in? Oh, he was looking at an Audi from 2003, but we've had one come in similar, so you can do that sort of additional custom fields. So I'll show you how to add those after as well. And then you've got quick tags if you want to tag the person as you're adding them, as well as social profiles. So you can add in a Twitter, and then also companies if you're adding a company. Well, I'll touch on company mode later. So that's all it is to adding a contact. And you save the contacts, and then they're in your list. So go back to the list, and then I'm added as number 167. So that's all it is to adding a contact, and you can add as many contacts as you like. So there's no problem there. And it's straightforward. Then once you've tagged the person, you can then click on any of these tags, and it will bring up the people that match that tag. So if you decide to look at everybody with a certain tag, then that's brought up the people that match that tag. And you can use that in different circumstances later. And so Tyler's asked, how does B2B contacts work? So with the business mode, so I've got B2B mode here. So if you're adding a company, so say I go to companies and add new, and let's say it's a customer company, so 0BS Software Limited, an example. And you put, like, if you have a central email for that company, so this is our support email, and then you can save down the company. So this will be in the company list. So you've added a company, and then you need to then go back and choose which contacts work at that company. So if I go back to myself, and then edit the contacts, and then this is back to where the company is. So if I type in 0BS Software, I'm assigning this person to that company. So that's how you add a contact there. Woody sent a link to the guide. So as soon as you add a contact to that company, then you can go back to the company list. Back to the contact list, sorry, back to the company list. And then you'll see that you've got myself added to that company. So if you wanted to add somebody else to the same company, you just find that person in your contact list the same way. So Miguel. And then you'd add him in the same place. You say 0 software, save. So that's added him. And then when you're back on your company list, you'll show him in that list as well. So it's an additional way to view your contacts by the companies. So if you're running B2B mode, then you can have all your people at the company, and then if you're wondering who works at 0BS Software Limited, you just go to the company and you can see the contacts and click into them, and it'll take you back to that list, so you know who is working at that company. So as I've been asked, so can you add one contact to several companies? This has been asked a few times as well. So I use myself as an example. So I work for 0BS Software Limited, but I've also got my own freelance company and my own WordPress theme shop. So I effectively work for 3 companies. So there is situations where you may want to add me to more than one company. So that's a feature that's coming soon. So right now you can't, but in Woody's leading when we'll be adding that one. So if Woody can jump on and give an idea, which he's doing. After activating WooSync, I'm getting the message that I do not have privilege to view all transactions. So that is a bug that was fixed earlier this week. So that should be going out in the next release. It's a bug with the menu choice. So if you go into settings, I'll show you where to go for that. So you go to the settings area of the CRM. And if this was set to anything other than slimline, you cannot access transactions. But if you put it to slimline, then you'll be able to get onto the transactions view. But that's fixed in the release that should be coming out this week. So you can see all your transactions, and similar to the contacts, if you're using something like WooSync, it will automatically tag your transactions with what they purchased. Okay, so just a quick recap. So I've done adding a contact and how to assign companies, custom fields, and why you should use them. So with your CRM, you might want to store more data. So when I showed before around that you could store things around car, like trade year, trade history. So if you go to settings again and custom fields, you can manage all sorts of custom fields. So on this one, I was doing a car example. So what year, what make, but you can put any custom fields you want in here. And you can choose the type. So they could be a text, a date. So if you wanted to store someone's birthday, for example, or an additional telephone number, or various different fields. So if you wanted a second email or something related to an email, you can add it there. But we do have areas for if they've got additional emails that you want to track is in the also known as on the contact. So down here, you can add additional emails there. So, but if you wanted to store a different email that was just for your records, you could do it through there. So custom fields are useful for just storing more data. And then in your contact list, you can go on and if you click the little blue button, you can then drag in your custom field. So you could bring in trade year, and as long as it's populated, it'll then be in your list, so you can see for your contacts effectively what trade year there and what different custom fields there are. So, do you have any new questions? Okay, I'll just jump back. So Scott said, any plans to add a more robust search feature in contacts? So for contact city or state, exactly what fields are searchable? Yeah, so it's currently just the standard fields. So if you type a name or an email, it'll bring up anything that matches. So if I typed in Mike, it would bring up any emails or any contacts that would match the word Mike. So there's only me at the moment. So if I typed in Miguel, it should bring up Miguel. If I spelled it correct. Yeah. So that's only searching emails and names and, as Woody said, postcodes. But we have had, again, quite a few requests to be able to search custom fields. So if you're using something like a custom field for a company, then having that ability to search that is something that will be coming in the near future. Let's look at some more questions. So Michael said, can we show future revenue, i.e. contact wants to buy in the future? I am working with them on a purchase in the near future. So generally, the way that I would do that is where I added a contact as a lead. Where's it gone? So if I go back to myself, and then so I'm a lead at the moment, so I've not actually purchased anything. So if you go to transactions and you create a transaction, you can say what status it would be. So you could say it's pending. I've got a pending transaction for 300, and it's like purchase in the works. It's assigned to me. So then when I save that down, you can effectively track it as a future transaction. And then when you go back to your transaction view, you'll be able to move in the filter for pending, and then filter on pending to see which transactions you've got that are pending. So on this one we've got 2. So you could do it that way. That's one way of tracking future orders, and then when it actually materializes, you can update it that way. So we've been asked, any plans to involve products registration or including WooSync? Yeah, I'm not sure what you mean there either. But we do have, so like pre-purchases you can do the way I just showed here. If you're wanting to show like, if someone's attending like a seminar or something and you wanted to show who had registered to attend, then you could do that with statuses for the customers, for the contacts even, or you could use, if you're doing multiple sort of seminars like that, you could do it via tags. So you could tag them based on what they've like registered for, if I'm answering the correct question. Okay, so I've covered custom fields, tags, and filters. So now I wanted to just look at the dashboard and other areas of the CRM. So this is effectively our central dashboard area where it will show you an overview of how many contacts you've got in your CRM, how many leads, how many customers, and how many transactions. And it will also show you like your revenue over time if you've got if you are using it for like tracking transactions, and just your most recent contacts, so you can just jump on and view them as they're coming in. And you can control which areas you are showing in this contacts area. So if you don't want to show the totals at the top, you can get rid of them and just run it sort of this way as a mini dashboard. Okay, so this does also link to other areas. So revenue charts, and we've got the sales dashboard extension. So this gives you a little bit more detail on all of your transactions. So this will show you your gross revenue, your net revenue after discounts and fees. So you've got anything that you make, and then it'll show you the fees that you're having to pay each period, and you can control the periods. So you can look at the latest month, and it'll bring up your gross revenues, net revenues, fees, discounts, the average revenue per customer in your CRM as well, and then how many contacts you've been adding, and whether you're adding more this month. And so if you're trying to generate leads, then that's quite a good way to track. And it'll also show you any refunds or any failed payments. So it's like the central way of seeing how are you doing, like in the last 30 days versus the prior 30 days. How have you done the last 3 months versus the 3 months prior? So it'll show you a cumulative view on the gross, and then also a net, a non-cumulative. So have you had any periods like without any sales? Is there anything that you need to look into? If you've got like a big gap of no sales for a day, have you had any problems with your checkout or anything like that? So that's useful if you're running any sort of transaction business. So this links into, if you're running WooSync or Stripe or PayPal, this will automatically populate once you've run either of these tools that will bring in your data. So it's the central area that it's useful to spot trends, and if there's any areas that you might, if you're doing a marketing push and you can see how many more contacts you've got in the last month versus the month prior, and has that had any impact on your sales. And it's a useful summary page of more details if you're running like a sales system. Any more questions? Okay, so we do have a product index. So if you're selling products, I'll show you what we mean there. So in invoicing, so if you're creating an invoice and you're adding a new invoice to your CRM, then we've got manage invoice items, and that's in Invoicing Pro. So you can type them in manually, or you can go to Invoicing Pro and your invoice items, and you can add them this way. So you can say products, and this, my description. Very creative, and then so $20, and then you can maintain your list of products here. And then when you come to add the invoice, you can do it. You can do quick adds, and then it will just add your products. So you can add as many as you want there. Or if you're using something like WooCommerce, it will automatically populate this, not this list, but this list. It will populate the drop down based on your WooCommerce products. So you can create invoices using your WooCommerce products. And so that's quite a few. Yeah, so selling products. Generally, if you are using WooCommerce, and I use WooCommerce on my theme business, is that you use WooSync, and then it'll automatically generate your invoices for you. And so it's a way of giving all your contacts like invoices in one place. So if you're using WooSync, it'll automatically mark them all as paid if they've been paid, or unpaid if they're processing. So there's a few different ways of doing that. And then if you're running WooSync, you can just give them a link to the client portal. So that'll get you to this sort of page. So this is the client portal. So if you're running something that's automatically generating your invoices, and then they'll all show up in your client portal. And so I don't have any yet. So if I go to the invoice that I was making, where's it gone? So I'll show quotes first, actually. So that's, again, I don't think I've got any quotes. So I'll check. So on the client portal, it's useful if so no quotes. So if I make myself a quote, so you add a new quote. So if you're doing some work for somebody, or a new kitchen. So I've been using kitchens as an example for quotes. So 500 for a kitchen, a new kitchen, and I've got a quote template for kitchen fitting. And I'll show you what that does. So quote templates, you can maintain a list of, if you're doing different types of work. So if you're working in web design or web development or search engine optimization, you can have a different template for each one. Or if you're doing more traditional, like kitchen fittings or roof tiling or loft conversions or any other sort of way you're running a quote business, you can manage a quote template. And in the quote templates, you can add placeholders. So you can say, you can write all of your usual things for quote. So this is a quote for customer name. You can put in a table. You can have your usual terms and conditions. So everything that, if they're reading it as a proposal or a quote for business, then you use the quote builder. So I'm using the quote builder for me, and it's automatically populated that same template from this page, but it's put in my placeholder. So it's saying for me, for Mr. Michael Stock from the CRM. So it saves you the time of having to write a new quote each time if you've got a lot of information that is the same on each quote. So that's a quote that I've just created for myself. And as a customer, you'll log into the client dashboard and you'll be able to see the quote that I've just made. So it's saying I've got a quote for a new kitchen, and then this is the quote. So yeah. And then you can accept it as a customer. And then once you accept the quote, it'll say to me the quote's been accepted. And then in the quote list, it'll say the date that it was accepted. So that's, and then back in the admin side, you'll be able to see that the quote has now been accepted on the 21st of June. So that's how the quote side works. And invoices are the same, except with invoices you can then choose to have them paid online using Invoicing Pro. So if I do a quick invoice, so I've done the work on that quote that's been accepted. It was 500. So we'll add a quick info kitchen 01. It was for myself. So just I won't do all of the details from the other one, but you can do the line items to match the quote. So we'll save that one down. So again, if you're using something like WooCommerce, it'll automatically do all this for your purchases. So if you bought a few things, a paid invoice, it'll automatically create all these invoices. So we've got an invoice here now that's been paid. And because I'm running Invoicing Pro, Client Portal Pro, which is in the bundle as a beta extension. So if you've not got this yet, let us know and we can send you a version. So it'll give you the ability to download a PDF version of the invoice. So that will do. And so the one I just created, it's available on the client portal. You can download a PDF and you can click in and view it and then pay it online. So this one's already been paid. So if you're using Invoicing Pro, then it will give you an option to pay either via PayPal or Stripe. But just as a record of activity as well, that all the invoices are in this client portal in one place, so you don't need to keep like sending invoices to people that are asking you for an invoice. You can just direct them to log in, and they can see all their history here, and they can see the transactions as well. So this was the one I created before. So it's a purchase in the works, and you can edit your details. So there's all sorts of front end work that can be done in the client portal. I've got a couple. So Client Portal Pro gives you the ability to also serve files. So if you want to attach an invoice to a customer or other documents that they can see, then you upload it to their contacts. If we go back to myself, and then we can, on files, edit contacts. So then I can choose to add a file. I'm trying to find a PDF. So if I do that one again. So that's the same PDF as so they can download invoices already, but if you wanted to upload anything else like your terms and conditions or other information that they've submitted, so if you you might want identification, so you might want something like their passport information or something that you do for them that they can download. So once you've done the quote, you might want to give them an official additional document that sort of confirms that. So you can add it to the client portal, give it a title, so invoice for kitchen, as discussed on. So that saves this file down against the contacts, and you've chosen to show it on the portal. So on the portal for this contact, you'll see that this is a file that they can then download. So you can add any file types that you choose in the settings to that. So under the settings area, you can have more than just PDFs. So you can choose down here which types of files do you want to allow to be uploaded against customers. So you could say PowerPoints, you could do slides, so any deliverables. So if you're like a designer that's designing a logo, you can put like draft versions here for them to download, or final versions then once they've paid the invoice. And so that's through Client Portal Pro. And so that's quite useful for people to be able to, if they're wanting to give digital copies of things to their clients, you can do it via Client Portal Pro and your files. See if there's any more questions. So yeah, the plugin is translatable. So there's a new WordPress translation engine. So let me put the link for that. So this is quite new to us as well. I don't know how many people have seen this. I'll send it in the chat. So there's this link where there's all the different languages supported by the plugin. So Spanish is in there. There's a lot of different variations. So Argentina, Chile, Colombia, Costa Rica, Mexico, Peru. But then there's a column for like waiting translations. So we've not really had. There's a few that have been submitted at the bottom for German and Chinese, but if there are translations here, if you click the link for Spanish, it should load them already. So it's translation ready, but going off this link, Spain, it's still showing that there's a number new translation. So if you are able to translate into your language, I think if you do it via this page, then it automatically keeps it up to date from other translations, other translators as well. So it saves having to keep like doing it via Poedit if you've done that in the past. But this is so we do have some translation files in there already, and Spanish has been done. So if you go into the folder, if you go to the plugins folder, then 0BS, then languages, you'll be able to see there are some. There is a Spanish translation in there, but I believe the two links that I sent in the chat, those two supersede any of those translations. So if we can get those populated, that'll help in going forward as well to make sure everything is fully translated. So email integration with Microsoft Outlook. So with that, so we've actually got a coming soon page, which I can bring up on here. I'll send the link to the chat as well. So we've got a list of what people have been asking for. So I will show you that in a second. So let's see the link to the chat. So this is everything that people have asked for. So integration with something like Microsoft email is what we're calling 0BS inbox. So there's so many different inboxes here, like Gmail, AOL. The idea of 0BS inbox is to be able to connect via your email server settings and have that in as an option in your CRM. So when people send you an email, you'll be able to know whether they're a contact in your CRM. You can easily add them as a contact if they're not already, and you'll be able to effectively see what the received as well as the sent history, and effectively manage your inbox alongside your CRM. And so that's something that we've been asked quite a bit about, but it is quite a complicated development because there's so many different email providers out there. So like Gmail will be supporting like the more popular ones. It's likely coming a bit later in the year for that as well, because we're building things based on what people are asking for, so it's obviously quite high up in that list. But if you've not already voted on the extensions that you want, please make sure you do that on that page. And if there's anything on that page that you haven't asked for, just let us know and we can add it and start collecting votes. So all of these extensions on this page will be brought into one of our bundles. And so if you've already purchased a bundle, let me have a quick look at the poll. So 2 people have and 4 people haven't that have answered. So if you've not bought a bundle, then we are still running our offer, but it is ending soon. So if you do want to grab either a freelancer and entrepreneur, or if you're planning on reselling this to clients, if you're an agency, then the entrepreneur or the reseller is a good choice. So it'll include access to all the extensions and the new ones that we released from the coming soon page. So we've got, I think, about 25 extensions in the works, maybe slightly more now since I last looked. But they do, obviously we can't release them all immediately, so it's based on votes and who's voted for what and all the other feature requests that we get for the extensions that are already available. And so if you haven't purchased, then we do recommend you grab it as soon as possible before the price goes up. And for anyone that purchases today, we've also got our agency theme. So when I've been showing you your client portal around here, so that's not the client portal. So the client portal, this is running off our agency theme. So it's if you're running it as a client-facing CRM or just a CRM that you want people to have a nice client area, then we're giving pre-sales for that. For anybody that purchases today, we can give you add you onto the theme for a year for free as well. So you just need to let us know your purchase code. So I'll send you the link to that. So the theme is here, and Woody sent the link to the bundles. So this is in pre-release, so we're releasing the theme again later this year, and it's likely to be in the region of 99 to 149 a year. But again, we can give you the 12 months for free if you purchase the bundle today. So it's a typical theme that you'd use if you're a freelancer or an agency. You can like show what your team is. You have testimonials. You can show your clients, and it's integrated with ZBS CRM. So the client portal is dead easy to get to. So client area, and you have a login like this, which would then take you, once you're logged in, to your quotes, your invoices and transactions in that way. So Michael's asked you to a mobile app. Yeah, so we've got it's already mobile friendly, the CRM. And there's a lot of companies now moving away from mobile apps to just having a mobile responsive website that has some like offline save capabilities. So that is something that we'll be again working on over the coming months. But again, I'll make sure that's on our coming soon page as well, so people can be voting on whether there is a need for like a native mobile iPhone app or anything like that. Okay, so for those that haven't bought the extensions, I'll quickly run through the bundles. So the freelancer bundle gives you Invoicing Pro. So when I was saying you can pay online with Stripe and PayPal. Gravity Forms, which will let you like collect leads. So if the Gravity Forms connect, if you're using Gravity Forms, you might have a page that says contact us for a quote, and then you can use a Gravity Form on that, and you get our Gravity Forms connector. Mail campaigns for like emailing out broadcasts, and then PayPal Sync and WooSync. But that's useful if you know you don't need every extension, or you might not need some of the coming soons. The Entrepreneur bundle does have everything that's included in the freelancer, everything that's already released in the extensions page, and then also the coming soon extensions. So we've got a lot in the works, and if you get the bundle, then you'll always have access to the new releases. So we've got Client Password Manager. If you have a CRM and you want to effectively save login details for their website, if you need to go in and manage their website or manage other things on their basis, you can store their passwords against their CRM user, and that's all securely saved. So it saves you storing it in draft emails or having to keep asking your clients for the same password. We've got a MailChimp extension, which will make sure that your ZeroBS contacts get added to your MailChimp list. So if you're using MailChimp for your integrations, awesome support. You might have seen that in the client portal. So when I was showing you the client area, I'll go back to that. So you see tickets. So if you're using awesome support, then you can have the tickets on the client portal. So you can tick on, you can use that and effectively manage it from your client portal. So Mike sent a ticket, and then you can see it's in progress, and it can be effectively managed via the portal. And so if you're using ZBS CRM and awesome support, then that's what that adds. So it has the ability to see your tickets on the portal page, but then also going into the contacts, when you're viewing the contacts, it will show you various things about the tickets as well. So that's the awesome support. We've got other ones. So ConvertKit, you can use ConvertKit. If you don't use MailChimp, it's the same sort of features. And then we've got connections with Groove. So if you're using Groove as your help desk, then you can connect there. And then Invoicing Pro and our sync tools, so Stripe Sync, PayPal Sync, WooSync, sales dashboards included as well, and mail campaigns, so where you've got all the mail campaigns set up. So if you want to send targeted emails to your contacts, so when we were showing the tags before, you can say send an email to everybody with the VIP tag, and then you can use mail campaigns for that purpose. And we've also got automations. Find automations. So automations is brand new, so we don't even have a page for it yet. But you can go on there. I'll send you the link to the guide for now. So we're putting up all of the information for the automations extension. So if you purchase the bundle, you can already go in and download that. But if you've not and you want to read more about what it can do, then I'll send. This is that. So you're able to set up triggers on different events in the CRM using automations. So if you're getting new leads in, you can have an email or send you a text message to make sure you're effectively going on. So you can say, I've got a new contact. What condition do I want this automation to fire? So has a status lead. And then you can use that then to assign it to a CRM team member, send an email, distribute to your customer managers. So you can say on a new contact, if they are from the UK, then you can assign it to Mike. I've just sent the wrong link. So if you want to read more about automations, again, that's a powerful extension where you can do a lot of different things on different events. And so you can, if you're using WooCommerce, you can set it up to send you a text message every time you get an order, because we've got a Twilio extension as well. You can do all sorts of fancy things on different events in the CRM, and you can send emails to the contact if you want as well. So if you have somebody sign up, you can say, thanks for your email, we've got your inquiry, here's more details. So you can set as many of these as you want, and then just let the CRM do a lot of the work for you. So you can send SMSs, you can add a ConvertKit tag, and we'll have adding a MailChimp tags coming quite soon as well. So that's the automations. So that's pretty much all of the tour. So our main way of using the extensions is so sales dashboard for seeing how you're getting on all the time with your sales. We use awesome support for tickets, and then we'll use if we do any freelance, we can use quotes and invoices of the CRM. So we have certain items as well that we can set up in the invoice items, and we just do everything by the client portal as well. So if you need to get at invoices, etc., then it's run through that way. So that's pretty much everything that we covered in the CRM. So if there's any questions, let me just jump back and answer. Yeah, so if you haven't been able to if you've seen any extension that you might want to test out on the beta basis, so if it's not in the download package, so Client Portal Pro that we've been talking about, that's almost ready to be included in the bundle. But as you've seen, it's usable now. So if you've already got the extension, just let us know and we can send you a copy. What is AKA mode? Oh yeah, that's just adding more emails. So for me, if I had a personal email and a business email, you might want to add them both to the same contact, and then have a primary email of, say, my business email. So I think that's it for questions. Does anybody have any other questions? Okay. If there's no more questions, then I will thank everybody for spending the time to watch me go through the demo. And if there is anything that we haven't answered, oh, hi, Ernest. We'll hang around for a few more minutes. Thanks, Patrick. Cool. So we'll send, yeah, so Barge, I don't know how to pronounce your name, Barge. I'll send you the details of the theme. I believe you in the Slack. Oh, yes. Before I do leave, we've also got the Slack community. So we hang out there pretty much all the time. So I'll send you the link to that if you're not already in there. There's the link. But if you want to talk to us some more, we're in the Slack channel all the time. Apart from when we're sleeping or having time off. So generally, if you're not in there already, you can ask questions via Slack, or if it's a more technical support question, via the knowledge base. So all of the links to contact for support, if you go to your little icon in the CRM, you'll see you've got the knowledge base. You can email us, you can tweet us, join the Slack, give us feedback, or run the welcome tour again if you've not already run that. So the welcome tour just will give you a guide through the CRM as well if you've not done it already. So you can just jump through and it will tell you about clicking the logo to toggle between full screen and other areas in the CRM. So that's how you get more support if you need it. Aside from that, if there's no more questions, then I'm going to end. So thanks, everybody.